Good evening, ladies and gents. It is Sunday night at 9 p.m. And it's been a bit of a ruffian for J-Mac this week. So tonight's episode will be paying tribute. I mean, what an episode to kind of pay tribute, right? But but do you know what? It would not be us if we didn't just do this and incorporate it somewhere or another. Do you know what I mean? We're not the type of folk to really. You're not going to get like a Michael Jackson in the Staples Center, but what we can do is we can give you the First Omen. Do you know what I mean? Do you want to chat a bit about it, J-Mac, or shall we just progress through the show and see how it goes?
We'll see how it goes, man. I wasn't expecting it to open with that. So.
Sorry, mate.
That's fine. You know, fucking greeting is still game. You know what's going to happen here.
Well, you know, that's how they do it in wrestling, and all I know is wrestling. I live life through how they do wrestling.
DI.
Andy Gibb, nice to see you, man. I saw you earlier on whilst I was cleaning out the car. Trying to talk to him about a shark hoover was not pretty. So yeah.
A wee product drop there. This week's episode is sponsored by Shark Hoovers.
And no sharks under Paris, because that was
also Shark and Hoovers, two different brands.
I know when you think of it. Janice is in the house. Hi, Janice. Nice to hear from you tonight. Tonight we will be blessing you. And I'm trying to use the part of the church. You know? We shall be blessing you here with an episode of the First Omen. Do you know, the funny thing is, I love the Omen. I'm going to show you this right here. You know, I've got a box set for everything, right? This I remember buying when it was like 30 quid back in the day, and the reason I really wanted it wasn't because it has every single Omen film up to that point, the 2006 one, right? But it was actually purely just because I thought this was such. See, when you buy a Blu-ray or a DVD and it comes with just such cool shit, and you're like, oh, what? Check this out, man. Check this. You know what I mean? Look at that.
Man, it looks like a funeral service book.
Right? So I was like, Omen Pentology for me, motherfucker. So I bought this years ago, back when I'd first had a job, and was like, I'm going to be able to do it. So, you know, while we talk about the Omen tonight, the First Omen, we needed to really kind of go back a little bit to the Omen, the very first Omen, which is going to be funny saying this all night, the First Omen and the actual First Omen. So that's going to be an interesting one for tonight.
We're going to have the First Omen and the Omen. We just do that.
Aye, the Omen and the First Omen. So I really wanted to talk about it. We were going to talk about it briefly in last week's episode, but I thought I went back and watched it and I said, J-Mac, we have to actually do a full episode on this, because I was kind of Mike Tyson in the corner with my thoughts. And it changed a lot. Let's just say it straightened me out. So I thought, okay, you know, we're going to chat a wee bit about it. So when I first spoke to you about the First Omen, I said,
hang on, it's June. You can't say it straightened me out. We'll get banned.
I know. God, we support all and all that fun stuff. But so when I first watched this, I said to you, I said, J-Mac, I thought it was fucking pish, right? But I was watching it, and I did start to fall asleep, so I missed a lot of it, right? You know that way where you're like, I've technically seen it, even though you missed a good chunk of it because you're falling asleep, but you kind of convince yourself that you've seen it all anyway because the bit you saw was quite pish. So I thought, nah, this is the Omen. This is a direct prequel to the Omen. So I really needed to go back and watch it and just confirm whether it was shite or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I went into this really being like, come on. Every time they do something like this, I was really expecting it to be so shit. So what for me?
You can't be. Nobody can say anything against you for that, because every time it's happened when we've had a prequel or a sequel to a legacy franchise, it's just been
cash grab.
It's been pretty bad. With the first of the new Halloween trilogy was an exception to that. The other two were terrible. The Exorcist, not even go there. But I can see why you would definitely think that.
So I went into it thinking, right, if it's going to be shite, right, there's an etiquette to making a shite cash grab, right, and that means fast and quick. Hit me with fast and quick, okay? If you're doing a shite cash grab. So I went in there going, shite cash grab, hit me with fast and quick, and it didn't. It took ages to build suspense, and I thought, this is a shite cash grab, right? And then I fell asleep. Going back, I went, this is a shite cash. This isn't a cash grab. This is the shite. This is
like,
Art Attack.
You're like, oh no, it's actually good.
I know. So I come to the conclusion that I went into it with a wrong fucking attitude, which I think for us, mate, that can ruin a film. Going into it with a wrong attitude.
Right? Absolutely. Like 100%. It happened to me so many times. Like, I'll just go, like, I don't like musicals in general, right? Don't like musicals. Yeah. One night, Missy's like, can we watch The Greatest Showman? I'm like, all right. We watched it, and I was like, that was crap. Watched it again. Next time, I'm, when you can't back home, when you can't, getting stuck in it. So your mood when you go in is it definitely plays a big part of how you feel about a film. Probably about anything, really.
I suppose you're right. It's attitude. It's, is it one day or day one? You know what I mean? And I think that is exactly what I went. I went in there with a honking attitude, thinking it's The Omen. It's untouchable. Come on, man. What you playing? Right?
I love that word.
Stinking honking, man. But then I realized, well, wait a minute. Phenomenal. And then when I watched it, and I was like, this is actually amazing. I says to the wife, guess what we're watching? Because I'm doing a podcast on tomorrow. We're watching the OG Omen. So I broke this bad boy out, right? And do you know, for the first time, I got to watch The Omen with a different perspective on what's what. Because now the jigsaw piece that never was available to us is now there, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm watching The Omen and turning to my wife going like this. Wait a minute. Whoa. So I'm watching The Omen and I'm turning to the wife going like this. Right? And she's like, what? And I'm like, the fire. The fire. I'm like, so there was a lot of that. So, do you know, not only was it good, but it allowed me to watch The Omen with a different set of eyes now, knowing truly what happened with Damien, right? When I first watched The Omen way back in the day, I'm feeling like, oh, these are really Damien's parents, right? When I watched it last night, I was like, I'm no longer viewing them as the parents. I'm viewing them as the people that was stuck with him. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I think when you first ever watch The Omen, even though you know the story that, the kid died or was we whacked him, right? And they replaced the child, you're still like, oh, this is a mother and a son, right? But see, after watching the first Omen and then you go back and watch The Omen, it's like...
Does it feel more sinister?
It does, because I'm like, this is just the family that this child was stuck with. Like, when I initially watched it, I felt like that's a mother's child. She'll not be able to, she shouldn't feel this way, right? But I think the work done on the first Omen so incredible that it actually made me watch The Omen with such a different perspective. It changed watching The Omen for me. And I think anybody watching this should go back and do that same thing.
It's been a long time since I've actually seen The Omen, and I've probably seen it when I was too young to really understand the effects of it. Do you know what I mean? To really feel the feelings that you're meant to feel when you're watching something like that. So I'm definitely going to revisit it. I did watch a recap of it after I watched this, and I was just going to go, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Everything's there, mate. Everything.
But for a prequel to a very important film in the franchise to come out so many years later and actually hit the mark was so unexpected.
Yep.
I hadn't actually even watched a trailer for it. I didn't know the film was coming until I seen adverts for it, like posters.
Do you know?
Okay.
Let's talk about that for a minute, mate. This was heavily underplayed. Heavily underplayed to the point, like, it's like, because obviously I work in the cinema industry, I got sent the terms on it, and I was like, it's a cash grab, right? So played it in the cinema, and then before you know it, in the blink of an eye, it's on Disney Plus, right? Yep. So this is a Disney. Disney made the first Omen, and I was like, who's making this film? Arkasha Stevenson. I thought, what has she done before? Brand new cherry flavor, which was fucked up in all kind of ways. But I kind of enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed that.
Did you watch all of that?
Yes.
Because I only watched the infamous episode where it says, don't watch episode 3 of Brand New Cherry Flavour. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go and watch that. And I was like,
Yeah, strange. But I actually did enjoy it. And what I liked about it is Arkasha's like when you watch a Stephen King film, you know what you're getting. Oh, it's a Stephen King film. When you watch a Michael Bay film, you're like, oh, it's Michael Bay, right? Well, Arkasha Stevenson has her own feel and her own vibe. The way that Mike Flanagan's kind of come out of nowhere in the last 10 years. Yeah. I think Arkasha, if I'm saying her name right, I am a J-Mag. I try.
Yeah. Right. Mate, you know I'd have jumped right on you if you hadn't.
So I think
mate, it's Angela.
It's Les Porter.
Mate, I actually work with somebody called Angela Stevenson. I've just realised that.
No way. Janice says, I remember the original Omen, but I haven't seen First Omen yet. Well, Janice, the original one came out in 76, right? And this one, 2024. So that's a big jump. Janice, watch the First Omen and then watch the Omen. Do it in that order, right? Because, wow. Because I didn't just like the Omen. Omen for me was up there. Like I say, you get the wee physical books and it's all full of it. And I watched it many times growing up. I knew who the character was to the point when I was watching the First Omen, I was like, there's Father Brennan, right? I knew who these characters were. Yeah.
That guy's voice, man.
I know. And by the way, do you know what's funny? Do you know what's really funny? When I was watching the First Omen, the original Omen, and
you're confusing yourself now.
I know, mate. I know. So you watch it, and David Warner plays Jennings, the photographer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking at him going, he's a lot like David Lewis.
Well, like who?
Thingy. No, David.
Oh, the guy that played him in the remake.
Aye, and I thought, it's David Lewis, eh?
Yeah, I think it's Thulis or something. It's a weird name.
Right? For me, he was always a baddie in Dragonheart. Look to the stars born. But the thing is, I thought, he's so like him. And then in the remake, they actually used him. I was like, of course they did. Because that's wee fact for you, by the way. Wee tidbit for you here right now. Just because I want you to know how much of an actual fan I am here of the genre, right? But do you know, on the 6th of the 6th, 2006, I sat in the 6th seat of the 6th row watching the remake! The remake!
Did you pick that seat?
Aye, of course I did, man. Of course I did.
Like, he's getting lost to his settings now, look.
I know.
He's back.
Stop that. But yeah, right. So that's how much of a wee Omen fan I was. So I actually went on the 6 o'clock show.
It explains a lot about you.
I've searched. I've got it's funny. I've got a scar on the back of my head, which is an L, which is actually L for Lauren. It's like fate knew that I was going to be cursed, so they gave me. I'm only joking, but yeah. So I actually went and watched that. So that's how much of a fan of the genre I was, right? Of the Omen, and I actually quite liked the remake. It was done fairly well, but nothing beats the original.
I think the remake gets a bad rap because it's a poor remake. If it was the first one ever, I think it would have been like, oh, that's a decent early 2000s horror film. But because it was a remake and it wasn't quite a shot-for-shot remake like Psycho was when they did that, but it was still
good, by the way, underrated as hell.
It was still the same thing over again. So there was it just didn't get enough. It didn't get a lot of respect. But I would say that if you're not into 70s horror films, if you just don't like the way they look or sound, whatever, just watch the remake because it's really not that bad. It's not that bad.
I know. And did you know that Harry Stevens was in the remake as well? Played the wee photographer.
Harry Stevens?
Aye. Harvey Stevens.
Who's Harvey Stevens?
The original Damien, the wee boy.
Ah, oh right.
He was in the remake. He plays.
Shows you how unfamiliar I am with the original Woman now.
It shows you a wee bit how I am. That or I'm reading it off IMDb. You decide.
Maybe.
No, but I genuinely did know the characters, and I did. Like, funny enough, I grew up watching the Omen films with my mom. Right, it's kind of something that we watched.
You're too old now for social services to come in. It's all right.
No. But hey, to be honest, they wouldn't have gave a fuck back then because everything was a bit more relaxed. You could put your fucking cigarette out in your kid's head and things would still be all right.
I never had an ashtray. Oh, that's fine. Tick.
Oh, fair dues. What's a guy today? I do. And I'm wearing a wife beater or not.
Kev seen this bit.
Kev seen this bit. Janice says, I do have a scar on the back of my head, but it's from a shopping cart.
I hate to laugh, Janice, but how the fuck did that happen?
Something went down that day. So this film, the overview is not so far different from the original Omen, really. So, do you know what I like as well? It's got that feel, the same type of story arc as you remember. It wasn't Tech. It was called Leatherface. And it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
It went straight to Netflix. We actually had on our show Sam Coleman, who we believed to be Leatherface in that whole film. That whole film, you're like, oh, when does this kid become Leatherface? When does this kid become Leatherface? Only to realize that's not fucking Leatherface, right? It's a wee red herring there all the way through the film. Makes you think you know what's coming. By the way. Oh, mate, if you've not seen Leatherface.
No, I'm talking about this.
If you've not seen it by now, it came out April 5th, man. Come on. So it was a wee red herring the whole time. Have you believing it's one thing and it's not, right? Which I quite like.
The thing is, when I was watching it, I was like, it's got to be that. It's got to be that. And then I was like, the film was actually so good at actually convincing you otherwise that you forget that you thought that at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes and hits you with it again. It's really well put together, man. It
really is. Happened when I was a kid.
I would have hoped that would be the case. Not many people get injured by shopping carts when they're adults, unless you're really stupid drunk.
So these main characters here are a lot of familiar. Well, they're not familiar faces, but they're faces from the past. You've got Nell Tiger Free, which is, come on, man, kind of names that. No way your name's Nell Tiger Free.
That's an interesting name. That I would like to know what her parents were like.
I know,
but she's
Free. They're definitely hippies. What about her acting?
Talking about acting. See, that's the thing though. Aesthetically, she was very pretty, but she wasn't like too pretty that it was distracting. She was.
That's not her.
That's a wee roommate. When she walked in, I was like, Jesus Christ, I used the Lord's
name. She's there with a bag in her head.
Baghead, that's a different film.
A producer here. I might be a producer here. Here she is with everybody. I know. Nell Tiger Free.
No, just because she really was phenomenal. If films like this were to get many awards, she would definitely be up for one. But unfortunately, films like this don't get a lot of awards. It's very rare.
True. She was I recognized her from Game of Thrones. She was Marcella. She was the Baratheon kid, the one that the sand snakes to give a wee kiss to, and then she died. Cersei's child.
Right.
So she was an heir to the throne, essentially. But she was quite young in that. I think she's got a huge future ahead of her because she's playing a character that you might not like. If she didn't play it straight, we would have been looking at a completely different film here, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you know.
It was done. She did really, really well.
I think she's going to be somebody that people talk about, and you know what? Do you know what? Exactly what you nail on the head there. She didn't use sex appeal to get you interested in it. Her performance stood on its own, man.
Yeah, I mean, she's essentially she's like a diet nun at the start of the film. I mean, she's nearly a nun, but she's not quite there yet. But she does all she can to hide her kind of natural beauty and stuff, and it's her wee roommate that kind of gets her to show it a wee bit. And I think she was perfectly cast for that because she is very, very pretty, but not distractingly pretty. Like they did that film, came out a few months back called Immaculate, which kind of similar.
I've not watched that yet. That's that lassie that everybody wants, eh? What's that?
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney. Very, very, very pretty girl, right?
She's become like the Margot Robbie recently, hasn't she?
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't see it. I don't think she's got the chops. I thought Immaculate was terrible as well. I'm disagreeing with a lot of people that seen it, but I was so bored by it, so bored.
This film is far from boring. Now when I go to watch it, I'm just going to be like,
you're going to have a bad attitude. I shouldn't even have said that.
Straight away, man. The thing is though, I essentially gave you and Matthew, man, a rotten attitude going into the First Omen because I tell you it was a fucking shit. So if anything, you're welcome for your surprise.
Well, it's just, that was good though, because like I wasn't going to go in with high expectations anyway, because it's a legacy sequel or prequel.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 50 years since the first one. I was like, it's going to be shockingly bad. But no, it's way, way better than it really should have been.
I think you even said to me, film of the year for me so far. Or horror of the year.
No, that was about Pandemonium.
No, that was me that said that. Pandemonium, just you copied me as usual, you prank.
Because that's how this show goes.
No, I'm sure you said when I said in the group chat with Matthew, where are you, mate? I'm sure I said to both of you, you were like, oh, watching First Omen this night, and I'm like, fucking absolute pants, fell asleep watching it. And then the next day you highlighted my comment and you said, disagree, one of the horrors of the year for me so far, or something like that. Something that basically had me going, if you hadn't have said that, I would now went back and watched it because I fell asleep. I was just done in when I did watch it. But because you said that, I thought, man, I've missed something here. Did you just shit?
Felt pretty close.
Apologies to everybody watching for my language more so. So we're introduced here to, and I think Nell Tiger Free, I think this is a pivotal point in her career where this is where people are going to take notice. Oh, wait a minute. Like, she's on my radar now. She wasn't before. She was just the wee lassie for Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I see she's in something, I'm going to go, I can't what to expect. It's more likely I'll watch it now. You've got Father Brennan, played by Ralph Ineson.
Ralph Ineson is amazing. Like,
He's
not even just in
class.
this. I think he's brilliant in absolutely everything. He probably made Coronation Street better when he was in that. I think the guy's brilliant.
Yeah, he is really good. But I would say that, like, watching that and then watching the original Omen, I wouldn't say that he spot on looks like him, especially when it's a direct prequel. It literally happens. Like, when you see Father Brennan in the Omen, it's like a week has passed, and he looks different. But I know what you're going to do. But he does look a wee bit considerably different. So before he gets a big spike through him, oh yeah, you're on it tonight, lad. So Bill Nighy, hey, and mate, can we just take a moment to appreciate this absolute hero?
I know.
Right?
Like, he's absolute legend of TV and cinema. Charles Dance.
So is it just me, or is he underrated? Like, did people give him his flowers?
I don't think he's underrated. I think what's the best way to describe it? He tends to always be the baddie. I mean, you're always the baddie. You're typecast as a baddie. You don't really get taken too seriously unless you do something that's like blown out of the world phenomenal, like Heath Ledger did with the Joker. But he never usually plays a baddie, so maybe putting him in that role gave him the chance to just let himself free. But Charles Dance has always been the baddie. If he's not a baddie, he's always a dick. Do you know what I mean? But
he's just so good at being a bad guy. So good. To the point where he's one of the standouts of Game of Thrones, easily.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy that looks at you, and when he looks at you on screen, you're like, even I'm like,
hello? I've just shot somebody and I did it on purpose.
Exactly. Charles Dance. And I think, do you know what? I thought, why have him in just to kill him off at the start? And then I thought, do you know what? I know exactly why they brought him in. Right? Because look at that face, man. Look at that face and tell me he's not looking directly to you at home and going, this is an Omen film. Fucking buckle up. Right?
Like, speaking of like that kind of feeling, there's so many nods to the original in this one. Sometimes it's a direct nod. Sometimes it dials it down a bit. Sometimes it dials it right the fuck up.
Yeah.
There's like a few examples. Like even me not being overly familiar with the original at this point, there was moments in it where I was like, "See what you did there." Definitely see what you did there. That was one of the dialed up to 11 moments.
Even when she said,
by the way, did you think like me that was Mia Goth?
A wee bit. Aye.
It's just some other psycho looking bird with the eyebrows.
Thing is though, see the minute she stood there, I went, no, she's not. And I looked at my wife and I goes, I love you, Damien. This is all for you. Right? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, watch. And she said it. And she jumps and I fell into a burning ring of fire.
No.
Did you ever understand?
Definitely did a number on herself. Like.
A wee bit. Did you ever understand what the purpose of her doing that was in the original? Or even here?
Effect.
Nah, because Damien don't need no effect. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was the purpose of I love you, make sure everybody can see me doing my selling?
I've never thought about it too much.
Do you know what I thought? Right, so it's open to interpretation. I can Google it in a minute if you want, right? But I've not looked at it in. I'm going to interpret it my own way, okay? So, Damien's now at a point where he's progressed as much as he can with who he's with, and the new bitch needs to come in. What's her name again? I forget her name, even though Mrs. Baylock, right?
Yeah.
So Mrs. Baylock needs to get in, and the OG, the OG nanny has to be like, right, I need to leave now, right? But her purpose is served. So what she does is she goes, well, my purpose is served now. Baylock's on the way in. Baylock's like an officer, right? A higher ranking, mad fucking nun bitch, right? There you go, Matthew, man, a poster. High ranking, mad fucking nun bitch. High ranking, mad fucking nun bitch. There's a fucking movie or what? so I can see it now with Miss Baylock as the fucking poster. So Mrs. Baylock's like on her way to now take over with Damien because he's of an age now we can start to understand shit. So she's like, well, I'm done, right? My job's done. I've done it exactly as I was supposed to. Completed, mate. Better go and top myself now because I'm wanted elsewhere. I'm wanted back with a big man. So, Damien, I love you. It was all for you, Damien. Deed. She's away. Completed it, mate. Right? What's your interpretation?
Okay.
That was a good interpretation, eh?
I'll go with that.
It makes sense, eh? But did you not have an interpretation, huh?
No, I never thought about it. Never thought about it. And there's no point thinking about it now.
Well, here's the thing, mate. I've just typed in why did the nanny, and Google finished it for me. Just prior to the nanny hanging herself at Damien's 5th birthday party, a black dog appeared in the bushes, which probably was what was telling Baylock, high-ranking nun bitch, right, and made eye contact with her. The assumption is that the black dog, one of many guards to Damien at various points in the movie, compelled her to do it. The intent being to replace her with Mrs. Baylock! Yes, man! Yes! I was fucking right?
Well, there's a clip.
Was that not right?
Sounds like it. It sounds like
all
it.
I did was missed it.
Well done.
Because the Doug gave her a wee nod to say, that's your job done. Completed it, mate. So my interpretation was right. Yes, man. So in this film, in the First Omen, there's a lot of here. There's a scene where you said that she wasn't out, and I can't find it. I prepared all these pictures. Where is it? It's not that one. I mean, even still, there's one where like she was definitely sent out to. It's a setup, man. It was a setup for the beginning. The whole thing was a setup.
Oh, that's clear. That's made quite apparent.
The whole time. Everything.
Everything's orchestrated.
Now, here's the thing. In the OG Omen, right, the mother was a jackal. It's never said, but the
jackal.
Aye, the jackal. Right, the jackal. Where do I know jackal for?
Jekyll and Hyde.
That's it, jackal. So the jackal, right, they find the corpse of the jackal, which may or may not burn in a fire in this film, right? But she's obviously Damien's mother, right? So the jackal must have been what smashed her during that scene.
Yeah.
It must have. So the jackal's actually the dad, technically, or the giver of fluids, right? And the whole thing is, like, she thinks she went out and got randy with some dude who then in great homage, gets fucking squashed like a flea.
Aye, that was something. That was another dialed up to 11 moment.
Are we to believe
it involved a pickup truck, but not in the same way. There was some form of dismemberment, but not in the same way. I don't know what's worse though. Like, what do you think would be the worst way to go?
Well, probably getting the torso would probably be worse because the torso,
probably.
like as you saw, he was still technically alive, right?
Yeah,
and
it was like the wife in Signs. Mel Gibson's wife in Signs. It was the same thing basically.
Exactly, and if it's the heat, you're pretty much dead for the get go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thing is, though, right?
Deed.
If it's a heat, you're dead. Thing is, imagine being that dude for a minute. Let's just back up for a minute, right? He gets to hang out with her, right? She thinks that they've secretly consummated, right? Imagine dying and going through all that and you didn't even get name. Hey,
like, you can see why he was trying to get away from her. He's just like, no, I don't want to talk to you. She's like, come on, what happened? What happened? He's like, oh, look for the mark. Boff, minced.
No.
Poor guy. The thing is, even the film subverts your expectations so often. Because you just assume that when the two guys hit on them when they go out, that they're going to get date graped or something. Do you know what I mean? But it's not. They were actually just two nice guys out for a good night. And
no, she did get date raped. Just
not by him.
No. Technically, he allowed it by putting something in her drink, and then took her away.
Did he put something in her drink?
Well, he must have. That's my interpretation because she doesn't remember much else and wakes up with spiders crawling about her.
I would have thought if he'd spiked her drink, it would have been there would have been a memory of that at least, like in the flashback scene. Just
he kept getting her drinks though, and then she stopped remembering stuff to the point where there's no next day memory. The memory comes then later in the film when she's like, "Is that a dog doing me, man? That's a dog. That's definitely a dog, man."
Maybe she was just that burst. It's like, oh, that's a handsome mongrel right there.
I'll show you someday who's burst. She's had a night,
Aye. It's like Jim Carrey and Me, Myself and Irene.
No. She's like that. All right, lads, went out to a gala day. Woke up 3 days later, man. Some sense.
I've never been to yoga.
I've never been to yoga in my life.
But that was creepy. There was really some pretty effective creepy horror moments, building dread, and there wasn't an overuse of jump scares either. There's like two or three of them, and most of them are like in the first kind of third of the film. It doesn't rely on jump scares, which again is a really uncommon thing for modern horror.
Are we to believe that this is very Final Destination? But are we to believe it's the devil controlling these apparatuses, which off people fairly often?
Apparatus eye.
Well, nobody was driving that pickup truck, or at least nobody was bothered about saying, "Wait a minute, mate, somebody's driving that pickup truck." Nobody was bothered about him or her or whoever or whatever was in that pickup truck. It's just no mention, is it?
Well, if nobody was in it, it could have been similar to the original where the handbrake had just failed and he happened to be there.
That was quite a fast fucking fail, mate. On the main road. Fuck off. Fucking get out of here.
Guy's like, oh no, my handbrake.
And the handbrake failed. It grabbed the fucking cigar. Like, I'm taking out this show, Ken. Attack of the Killer handbrake for outer space. Has to be for outer space. But you know what's funny though? Everybody that's watched this is saying the same thing, right? Everybody's saying went into it expecting cash grab, came out of it going, "Fucking yes, more of this, please."
Well, what I have noticed is that the IMDb score has been creeping up since it came onto Disney Plus, and I think that possibly could be. I mean, it obviously highly underperformed at the box office, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't
which
given
everything
enough.
is, by the way. Everything is.
It wasn't. I think it came out against Godzilla Kong, so never. So it was only seen by a few people. Most of the reviews were probably by up themselves critics, so the score dips. You put it out to the masses, you'll see it start coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if it was sitting at about 6.6 now. I would not be surprised if it gets to 7 because it is a bloody good film.
Yeah.
Just wasn't seen widely enough.
I like how, so see in the original Omen, Father Brennan has the mark of the beast on him. Right? So Father Brennan has the original, and if you just watch the original Omen, you're left going, why the fuck did he have that on him? Like, why he was a good guy. Why the fuck did he have it on him? And this film, do you know what it's like? It's like someone hands you and I a budget and goes, right, you are going to make a prequel to the Omen, and any questions that are in the original Omen, you're going to answer. Anything that's happened previously in the original Omen, you're going to show them. We get the fire in the Hall of Records, right? We get to see the jackal. We get to see exactly why someone like Father Brennan may have 666 on him. Because the mark of the beast... Oh, well, wait a minute. Because in the First Omen, they're waiting on the first male to be born. And that's how they'll know that the son of Christ, the son of Satan, is essentially born. Father Brennan is a male.
Yeah, there was a wee bit of gender swapping in general in this film. But obviously, the jackal was meant to be the mother, and it turns out it wasn't, because, spoiler alert, the mother survives and runs away. So
that's far.
That
even then, would you?
Hang on a minute. Aye.
I mean, she looks quite sadistic there, but
doesn't mean that's a bad thing. But no, so maybe that was an oversight. Maybe there's a wee plot hole there. I don't know. Again, I try not to think too much about these things. Maybe I should, considering I do a fucking movie podcast.
I think
I just very much take films on face value, and I missed that. I say I missed it because I wasn't that familiar with the original. I'd forgotten that he had the mark of the devil on him. Jesus, here's another one. Mark that devil, son.
I know where we would find your fucking 666. You see that the wee lassie who's got good dental care, by the way.
Pretty decent, eh? I know where you'd find your 666. It'll be at my first prostate exam. It feels like Braille for 666. What's going on here?
That's a devil's breast coming. That's a devil's breath coming out of that man's ass.
The devil's breast would be even stranger.
But the devil's breath coming out of that man's fucking...
That's what hemorrhoids are. It's the devil's breast coming out your... I've had that as well.
You've had worse, mate. You've had the devil growing for your arse.
Not fun.
Especially when it happened twice. There was a full moon. The Jews returned to wherever the fuck it was the Jews had to go to. And there was a shooting star.
And I
like that as well.
Abscess.
Mate, I actually really liked how everything was to do with the sky and Bethlehem and all that stuff. Janice is saying, Matthew says, Mr. Dance was pretty good in Egg. Pretty good Egg in Alien 3. Aye, does he? Mate, my mum just got me the full Alien box set.
I don't really remember Alien 3 because I saw it when I was young and I thought it was boring. I'd probably enjoy it more now. So I forgot he was even in that.
Charles Dance is... I think that was a wee bit... Like, see if you and I were to write an Omen film. We'd be like, right, old class cunts. Charles Dance, right? We'd have to get Charles Dance.
Yeah.
We'd put Samurai Cop in it one way or another.
How would you fit Samurai Cop into an Omen film?
He'd be a priest, of course.
All the wee nuns are like, do you like what you see?
He's
I
like,
love what I see.
It's like, Father Brennan or Brimnan or some shit like that. It's Italian for Les Porter. It's Italian. But so I heavy enjoyed the First Omen on the second viewing, and it's interesting that I disliked it on the first. Here, how cursed was the original Omen film? To the point, like, I'm sure you've all seen it now, but the original Omen film was heavy cursed. To the point, it was like, did you hear about half the shit that happened in it?
Not with the Omen. No, I know a lot about the Exorcist, but not.
Well,
the
you
Omen.
see, obviously the photographer, in the original Omen, the photographer dies by getting his head cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy that was the head of photography on the Omen film was in a car crash with his missus, and his missus' head got cut off during that crash. And as he kind of gains consciousness, he looks over, sees that she's dead with no head, looks up at the road sign, and it's Route 666. To the point...
Was that still called Route 666 back then?
I don't know. It was
definitely... Was it ever called Route 666? I don't think it was.
It was a 666 on the road sign that he saw, right, which was weird as hell. To the point that seeing the original Omen, because so much crazy stuff was happening to the people that were making the film, Lee Remick, who played Catherine Thorn, the original mother of Damien, that scene where she falls down the stairs, she was like, if you think I'm fucking doing a stunt falling off these, not a chance. So what they actually done was they filmed her like going onto a wall.
I knew that was the exact noise you were going to make there. How funny is that?
Did you? Did you know I was going to do this? Hong diddly dong dong.
Rabbit baby buggy bubbas.
But so she did. She was like, not a chance. So many bad shit happened. Well, we want me to Google some of the bad stuff.
Why not?
What?
It's always good fun.
By
the way, Route 666 was a real thing, and it was only decommissioned in 2003.
Because of all the bad shit that happened.
Well, because of all the reportedly bad shit that happened. A lot of myths and legends.
There's a great cheaply made film called Route 666. It's fucking class. It's about these guys that were killed on Route 666, and anytime folk drive through it, they get up as like zombies and start killing folk. And even when I was watching it, I was like, this is mad, because they walk so slow and they kill you by like throwing you down on the ground and putting a drill on you and drilling you into mints. Like, could have escaped.
That sounds right up my street.
Right, we need to watch it. Matthew, man, get on it. Route 666. A hotel that had been vacated the day before the director, Richard Donner, was bombed by the IRA. Wow. The day after filming the baboon scene with Lee Remick and Harvey Stevens, a Windsor Zoo worker was killed by a big cat. What? A day after filming the baboon scene in the original Omen. Like, there was just a number of crazy shit that happened. There was obviously the head decapitation. There's a great TV series out there called Cursed Films, and it goes into the Omen has its fucking own feature on that. Go watch it. Liz Moore's tragic death mirrors part of the Omen's plot. I think that accidents still plague the Omen. Additional incidents in the 21st century would suggest that the Curse of the Omen still has some bite, even in 2005. While filming a documentary about the curse, producer Alan Tyler confessed that 2 different camera crews in 2 different locations had the exact same technical difficulties with the footage they filmed, according to the Herald. And in 2006, the remake of the film experienced 2 separate incidents. The first befell actor Pete Bostle brother.
Pete Postlethwaite.
You can't see what I'm reading. Who died unexpectedly.
He's a very famous actor, man.
Is he? Aye. Who died unexpectedly after allegedly being dealt 3 sixes in a game of poker. Oh no! We're doing an episode on it.
That's it. It was nice knowing you, man.
No, man. Who died unexpectedly after dealt 3 sixes in a game of poker. The second incident saw footage of the scene where the actor Leif Schreiber finds the devil's birthmark on Damien, Seamus Davy Fitzpatrick, some 13,000 feet of film became inexplicably destroyed while being processed. Mate, there is an abundance of...
Mate, that's just some guy fucked up, and he's like, "It's all right, I'll get away with it. It's the Omen. I'll just say I didn't know."
No. I thought
tape chewed up in the player, and he's like, "Oh, fuck."
Mate, there is a ton of stuff that went on during this film, and it had people going, "This film wasn't meant to be made. This film wasn't meant to be made." Janice says, "Whoa, I never knew that." She says, "Poltergeist was cursed also." Well, they used real dead fucking bodies.
Mate, that blows my mind. That they just running out of money here. We can't really afford to make fake skeletons. Let's just use real ones.
Some fucking real dead bodies, man. Filmed in a place where there's actual dead folk. That was class, man. I watched the original Poltergeist not too long ago because I've got this poster on my wall that Todd gave me for my birthday, right? You scratch off the horrors that you've seen.
Yeah.
Scratch them off like a scratch card or a scratch off in America. And you scratch off the ones you've seen. And I looked at it, Omen was there the other day. But we watched Poltergeist, the OG one. I've watched...
She started a slippery slope. The drink, the drugs, the scratch cards.
That's how it starts, man. But I watched it. I watched it because the wife hadn't seen it. And I'm like, come on, man, watch. See, even watching the Omen, that was her first time watching the original Omen. And she's listening to the way that Gregory Peck's like, "What are you? I love you. Anything for you. I love you." And it's just like, she's like, I can't get into the sheer, because it's in the 70s, everybody talked to him. And every woman was like, "But why? Like this?" Right? She just kind of get into it.
It's 50 years ago, man. That's just the way things were.
Crazy when thinking about it. Which, by the way, the reason Gregory Peck actually took this role was because he felt that it was going to be quite therapeutic, seeing as his son died.
Took the role because he was peckish.
Sorry. His son died in real life 2 years prior, and he took 2 years absence from the industry to kind of get over it, and was like, you know what, this character kind of speaks to me because he lost a child and gains one, so he felt that it would be quite therapeutic. And do you know that Harvey, who plays Damien, the reason he got the role is because when he was in Richard Donner's office doing the audition, Richard Donner said to all the kids, "I want you to really come at me here." Right? When that scene, because he was basically, the audition scene was the scene where he drives past the church and he's like, starts kicking fuck out his own mum. And they're like that. Which, by the way, this has always been a thought of mine. See, if you rolled up to a place and one of your kids started freaking out and attacking you, would your first thing be, "Oh, it's the place," or would you just be like, "My son's just freaked out and started attacking me. Let's get him out the car"? Like, why would you assume it was the place?
Aye.
And not just them being a wee wanker, sitting in the vet.
What is it, son? You hungry? Are you hungry? Is that what it is?
You know what I mean? But they're like, "Just drive on. It's like, well, how did you know it was the place? You know what I mean? You can say, okay, well, we just stopped here and now he's going to have his tits. But probably no. Thing is,
have we not spoke longer about the original Omen than the first Omen at this point?
No, have we?
Must be getting there, like.
I put wee Damien in the graphic because I knew that we'd be heavy talking about the OG Omen. But when he does that, I thought, that's mental. That's mental. He does that, right? But the reason he got the role was because he started kicking fuck out of Richard Donner, like proper kicking fuck at him, pulling his hair and everything. Richard Donner's like, actually I can't.
Aye, it's a good sign that you can play the son of the devil when you're just a vicious wee shit.
I know, kicking fuck at Richard Donner.
Like, what? He asked me.
I know. Classic. So,
the whole cursed film thing is it's always a funny one because you get normal films that have got nothing to do with the occult that end up feeling cursed as well. So it's like, is there anything to it? Nah, probably not. There's probably nothing to any of it. But if a film can get under your skin enough, it can feel real. This film did that for me. There's something about religious horror films that really work on me, and I think it's because religion itself is fucking terrifying. regardless of the subject matter of the horror film, I think religion, especially Catholicism, it's very, very culty. It's very, very culty. Like just the stuff they wear, and like the whole congregations knowing when to kneel and stand and sit, and like the idea that it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you confess your sins to a priest, you'll be forgiven. So
that's a bit bullshit.
It freaks me out, man. And when you add in some demonic stuff in there as well, it really does work. There's some imagery in this film that's probably some of the most horrible stuff I've ever seen on film. There's a scene involving a birth that gave me the proper jeebies. Don't know if you want to talk any more about that.
It was quite stinking.
Yeah. I think the film was close to getting an 18 certificate just because of that. But they cut it down a wee bit and somehow got it down to a 15. But I don't think that was a 15 shot, man. I think that should have made it an 18.
Yeah, I think
a lot of good practical effects as well.
There was only one other film that made me feel like that while watching a birth scene, and it was called Knocked Up. Have you seen Knocked Up?
Yeah, I've seen Knocked Up. Aye.
You see that scene where he looks in the mirror and she's like,
she's agape.
That proper messed me up for years, man. Here's a picture of them all at the what do you call it? The premiere. As you can see, Mia Goth stands out a treat, right?
Aye. What is she wearing?
Nothing.
Very, very little.
Aye. But you can see the full cast, the crew. Bill Nighy, he was excellent. He's got such a presence.
He just came in and Bill Nighy the fuck out of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Hello, darling. It's so nice to see you. I'm bad inside, by the way.
Like,
excuse my throat.
I've been with you for such a long time. You're so special to me, you know.
Here's the thing. I don't think
last thing I'd want to hear from a fucking priest.
I know, right? He doesn't. I didn't think he wanted her to actually die. It was kind of because of what happened again. Matthew says was pleasantly surprised by this wee movie. Aye, like I said earlier on in the show, Matthew, I did apologise for proper having a bad attitude about it and sending everybody into a disarray before watching it. I've since mended my ways and repented for my silly attitude because I went into it with a honking attitude and it shows. But it definitely still pandemonium is the movie of the year for me. However, the First Omen, by the way, we're going to do it. We're going to do it December, right? End of the year. We're going to do our jibber jabber fucking slammy awards. Get yourself a jibber jabber, and we pick our favourite movies from the year. And I think this will be getting spoken of. It's just so good. It's just so good.
Yeah, it was just way better than it should have been. I'm surprised. I was surprised to see it actually went to cinemas. Like they took the risk. It didn't go straight to streaming, but it wasn't in cinemas long enough, and not enough people saw it. See, how well a film performs really can depend on what other films are coming out at the same time. Yeah, it's just a shame that it was coming out against a Godzilla Kong film, but that's films for Godzilla Kong. That's films for the masses, and by the masses I mean idiots. Like, you need to cater for idiots because most people are idiots. Cater for idiots, show them big, bangy, crashy CGI stuff and they're happy. Put something out with a wee bit of thought behind it like this, or Pandemonium, and it just falls under the radar. And it's no fair.
Especially when it's all in Italian. That makes it even worse.
There was actual Italian in this film as well, Kevin.
I know. Matthew says, no, it came out last year, but Godzilla -1 for me. Fucking excellent movie. I will watch that, Matthew had it ready to watch the other night, but wife was like, all that. So didn't watch that. But I will. And do you know, funnily enough, watched a thing on Netflix about a cult that made these wee dancers like make money and all that. But I can't really talk much about it because I fucking fell asleep watching it. But it was about a cult nonetheless, and that again, they use religion. The whole premise of the First Omen is that many years now, people are falling away from the church because they do not believe our influence is failing. So we shall unleash the Antichrist, and they will come back. Motherfuckers.
Seems like something they would actually do if there was anything real behind all that stuff, eh?
Well, mate, look at the world that we live in right now. They fake everything.
Well,
they're
that's
called red. What do they call them? What's
false
the name of
flags.
those false flags?
No, is it false flags?
No, they are. That's exactly what I was looking for, mate. Well done. That's what I was looking for.
But like I think it's Brennan that says it in the film. He's like, the only way to get people to believe is to create fear. Create fear, they'll come flocking back.
COVID-19. Hail Hangman. Set up. Hail fucking thing.
And
scary,
banned.
scary, scary. Let me protect you. Scary, scary, scary. While all the while, the politicians are like eating cheese and drinking wine and going,
aye,
but we're exempt for everything.
Aye. Also, as soon as COVID was over, Putin's like, go.
Exactly.
He's like, as soon as lockdown is finished, we will go. Don't want to catch COVID.
Aye. The Russians are not afraid of anything, mate. I've watched them drink vodka straight to like pint glasses and still drive a car.
Well, that's terrifying.
And Seb's not even Russian.
Do you know what's terrifying when you're out on the road is how many people smoke weed when they're driving? That you can smell it. You smell it through the car in front of you, and see the many times you smell it coming out of pickup trucks and workies vans. It's horrific.
Pickup trucks. That's what happened in the Omen.
Oh, there you go. That's probably what he's
All
like.
Explained.
Oh, fuck the handbrake.
All explained. All explained. It's ridiculous. Here, I never actually played the trailer for this. Do you think I should? Is it too late to do so?
Baron.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the trailer for the First Omen.
There's this girl at the orphanage.
Carlita.
You must be very careful, Margaret. It's the girl. Evil things will start to happen.
It's all for you. No, don't.
What does any of this have to do with Carlita?
How do you control people who no longer believe? You create something to fear. I believe the girl is to be the mother.
Mother of what?
It's the mark of the devil.
It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real.
What's not real?
Who said that?
The First Omen.
Usually play that at the start of the show, but you kind of like to mix it up.
Actually, unlike what normally happens, we gave away more spoilers than the trailer did, which was nice. It was a good trailer.
Because usually it's just me that gives away the spoilers.
You tend to just, Kev starts talking, I just start going.
So she dies, right? And he comes in and just starts stomping on her head, right?
I never tell you how she died.
I never tell you she got hit with a hammer. Did I say that? Usual, man. Usual. So I gave it a good 7 out of 10. And I think I might even give it more.
That's where I'm at.
Aye.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was, again, way better than it should have been. Very well written, very well made on a relatively modest budget.
Yeah. If this, mate, if this film is a trendsetter, because those are things, you know. Squid Game came out before you know it. Everything else was Squid Game, you know. What's that? A Quiet Place came out before you know it. Everything's coming out where it's like you've got to be quiet. If this is a thing where prequels come out and they're absolutely fucking class, sign me up.
Aye. The thing is that there is another element to the story that could possibly lead to a spin-off more than sequels. Won't actually spoil that one. But oh my God, what's going on here? Like, this is the curse of the Omen. This is the curse of the oh man.
The oh man. Mate, that's a movie poster. J Max farts. The oh man. 666. The oh man. The oh man. The oh man. Sorry, man, that hit me. The oh man. The oh man.
Do you like that one, mate?
It was good. Oh no, it hurt. It hurts. The oh man. Too good. The oh man. My belly hurts. Belly hurts.
I'm glad I could do that for you. What are you drinking, by the way? What's that?
It's a Portuguese wine. It's nice.
All right. Which one?
I don't fucking know. I read shit. Reading's for fucking pussies. You're done, Kevin. I'm fucking done.
So I've been looking after you since you were a child. Oh man.
Oh, I'm sure we could, like get one of those smart edits.
There we go again. That's ridiculous.
Ken, you've got another cyst coming in, don't you? So that farting.
Twisted.
Oh man. Oh man. Sorry.
Like, Damien, you're fucking rotten, man.
You're fucking rotten. The oh man too. Well, it was fucking one of yous. the Omen 3 Sherlock by Sherlock. Anyway, sorry. Oh, breathe.
Why is one of you no burnt down the church after the fucking immaculate birth? Oh, you fucking one
where pop culture meets culture.
I'm cultivating something.
Too good. It's far too good.
Oh. Anyway.
So I fair enjoyed the First Omen. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, we've got quite a good few reviews, more deals coming with more distribution companies. So stay tuned. I feel like we've been heavy on the reviews recently, but we kind of have to be. Got a few coming up. The First Omen, we didn't want to gloss over it. We were going to chat about it last week, but we didn't want to gloss over it because we felt that it needed its own wee platform and a good wee chin wag on it. So we decided to make it a fully fledged episode. Not the best one as a. I think I can smell your fart for here, man. Fuck me. Oh man. Smellagram. Aye. There would have been a better episode for a tribute to J Mac's late great brother, but the Omen essentially it was already planned. And it's a real tribute when we can laugh and we can talk about scary shit, all the while saying, "Do you know what? Here, let's raise a glass to the fallen." So, if everybody puts their glasses up at home and just here, I was thinking to myself, I thought, what's a nice word to say to your pal in such a time? And I thought, here it is. J Mac, I know you so well, and if your brother was anything like you, he'd be a right fucking wanker, man. I'm joking. Funnily enough, your older brother was the only McKaig I actually don't know. But he did, from everything you showed me and from any pictures you sent me, he seems like somebody to me that I would have got on with. I have many friends who are a lot older than me that are just into the same kind of shit. The beard and the long hair straight away would have started a conversation between us. You try to be Jesus, you can't. If they're a natural relationship would have happened. So.
Unfortunately, we'd kind of lost touch for quite a while, and then it was a bit of a falling out and some daft stuff, and then kind of managed to bury the hatchet about 6 months ago or so. So I'm glad that managed to do that. But I just assumed that they would work out what was wrong with him and fix it.
That's one thing.
Not to be the case.
Life is short, and if you go to sleep on an argument or whatever, fucking sort that shit out, because, and I said that to you years ago, Jamie, hey, never know what's around the corner. Fucking life is short, so tell your buddies that you love them and fucking just enjoy life to its max daily, eh?
Count your blessings.
Aye, for sure. So the First Omen's been class. I've had a good time chatting about it. Is there anything more you want to say on it, G-Mac?
No, just see it. It's easy to see. It's on Disney Plus. Most people have got it. Just fire it on, but do not watch it with children. Do not watch it with anybody that isn't fully prepared for some of the onslaught, horrible imagery that you're going to get. Also, this isn't a creature feature. This isn't a daft horror film. This is the creature in this is kept to a minimum, but effective when it does happen. But just good practical effects, good everything, good acting, good writing, just brilliant. Just watch it.
And to you, Janice. Yes, so the next couple of weeks we'll have some really cool shit. Some films that are on Italian and that, but we'll tell you all about them and tell you whether or not to watch them. You can check all of it out on the Arrow Player, which is class. And we'll be doing some cool stuff. We're going to get together with Andy Gibbs soon, talk about a story that is very dear to his heart. So, J-Mac, we need to find a wee date that you're free, get together, pick a place. I've got the setup. We'll set it up and we'll do a proper pre-recorded podcast. Like, it's been a while since we've done one in person, so we'll get that hella done.
Definitely.
A lot of cool shit coming up. I just had to renew the website, both of them. So I'm going to probably try and make money for it this year. So go to jibberjabberstore.co.uk and I'll try and sort something out. I need to put some shit up for sale. You know, got these websites here sitting there then fucking nothing. However, our actual website, jibberjabberpodcast.com, is good because people contact us. A few guests that have come on the show have contacted us through there, which is amazing. That people go, I need to get onto a podcast, and they contact us. That's class. But some really cool stuff coming up soon. We've been contacted by a number of different talent agents and all that stuff. So really cool stuff coming up. Thank you, everybody that tunes in every week, stays with us, our wee Jibber Jabber familia. And we'll do our best to give to you everything that you guys give to us. And that's fucking absolute entertainment and unriveted loyalty. J-Mac.
That's unriveted loyalty. That's a t-shirt. Loyalty that could easily fall away.
But hasn't. Unriveted. It's true though.
Rivets hold things together, man.
Aye. Unriveted. Right? It could fall away, but it doesn't.
Did you mean unrequited?
I meant unriveted. Wait. It's unriveted, but it stays. Right? It's unriveted loyalty. We don't hold it in place, but it fucking stays, man. It's solid as a rock. Even though it could fall away, it doesn't.
It's held with friction, static, and farts. That's how we go.
That and a wee dose of right? Exactly. So, lads, catch you next week, Sunday, 9 p.m, unless we've got a guest coming on. But follow our socials and you'll see what we're up to. So, jibberjabberpodcast.com. You can follow everything there. Go there, fucking click on shit. Oh, it's a cool wee website. Fucking enjoy it. Janice says, see you next week. Janice, fucking looking forward to it, my man. And have a great week. Take care, spike your hair, look after yourself, tell the ones closest to you that you love them. And fucking J-Mac, I'm going to let you end the show this week because you always say I always take the last word. Vagina boob.
Yeah. What Kev said and all that. See you later. See, I'm not used to it now. I'm not used to it now, but I appreciate you being here, and thanks for the well wishes and all that. And we'll see you next week.
Most definitely.
Vagina boob. They did it again.
Sorry. Right. Bye, guys. You go.
Bye-bye.